Thanks so much, Caroline. And joining us now live this morning is Victoria Henley. She's a professional model, and out of more than 100,000 people, she actually became the top 5 of Cycle 19, Season 19 of America's Next Top Model. So we're so excited to have her. And Victoria has also been featured on covers and in editorial spreads for Runway, such as Italian Vogue and Modern Hair and Beauty Australia, and has graced hundreds of runways globally for several different acclaimed designers. So thank you so much for being here. We're delighted to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's so nice to finally meet you and to be here.
Absolutely. Now you're actually from the area, Colquitt, Georgia. You have family there.
I'm a Colquitt girl.
Yeah, so you're not new to the South, but just tell us, you've been modeling pretty much all your life, you said, since a baby. How did you get started into modeling?
I have, yes. Well, it was a chance encounter. I was a little baby in a restaurant with my mom, and an agent just kept looking and said, listen, we need a baby for this project. Are you interested? And my mom kind of, checked the legitimacy of everything. And then, so I did child modeling. And then when I got old enough to make my own decisions, it was really something I was interested in pursuing as a career. And it was not, I'm so fortunate that I didn't have a pushy stage mom or parents that, she is a biology chemistry major. My dad's a veterinarian, Colquitt Animal Hospital. Got to give a shout out.
All right.
But yeah, so then later, I said when I was 18, if my career is not where I want it to be, I'm going to audition for America's Next Top Model. About 100,000 people auditioned that season. It was the ride of a lifetime, and I got selected. They cut it down to 13 people. When they called my name to go in that house, my life changed forever. So,
I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
So it's been a journey.
I bet. So tell us a little bit briefly about how you auditioned for that, America's Next Top Model.
Yes, of course. Well, I was actually at the gym, not very far from here, about 30 minutes running on the treadmill. And another thing, I think it was, God, kismet, whatever you want to call it, there was a commercial, this little local commercial. Hey, America's Next Top Model is going to be at an apartment complex, so of all places. And again, I thought, is this really America's Next Top Model? And so I showed up, I stood in line, there were probably 300 girls there.
Wow.
And I didn't have the photos you were supposed to have printed, really sweet girls in line that didn't have to do that, kind of helped me and said, oh, well, bring this photo, get this. And I did the audition, and one of the producers said, whoever brought you, thank them for us, and I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then I got the call a month later, and they were like, Tyra Banks saw your video. Wow. She wants you to come to Houston. It was a dream. It was a very dream-like instance.
That's amazing.
But, surreal is the best word I could use.
So auditions were actually around this area in the Southeast?
They were.
Okay.
They were, yeah. So,
very interesting. So you have done a lot and accomplished a lot. We can't talk about it all, but you own your own company. Tell us a little bit about that. And if there's somebody that aspires to be a model, how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, absolutely. So I am really big on that. I always was interested in being more than just the model who walks around in prom dresses, because if you want, real longevity in your career, like my hosting on iHeartRadio, starting my platform and my company, I always wanted to help other models further their careers as well. So I started after America's Next Top Model. I did fashion segments for CW affiliates, and then I started Magnifique. So I started partnering with different agencies. Now the company's grown. I've had about 4,500 models that I booked and trained, developed, placed, worked with, about probably, 1,000 designers or so. So if you're a model, if you're a designer, we've done 2 shows in Dothan, Alabama, and we might even come back. So we do shows in the area. We do workshops and photo shoots. I think we'll be posting my email address, but it's at Victoria Henley on Instagram. I'm holding up a purse. I don't bite. Don't be shy. I love to hear from you guys. So please send me a direct message or email Magnifique.
There's your information right there of how to contact you on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any projects locally in the Dothan area that you're working on?
That's a really good question. So we've done 2 shows in Dothan, and they turned out really well. We had people flying in from all over the place, and a lot of them, had never heard of Dothan, and they were like, this is a great city. The people are so nice, and, we're really big in promoting and working with local talent. So shows that we have coming up, we have Covington, Louisiana. New Orleans is beautiful, so if you're willing to travel, that's a show here in the South.
Not too far away.
Not too far. We have Gatlinburg, Tennessee, the beautiful mountains. It's going to be amazing. Next season, May the 30th on a Saturday, so we're pre-booking for that. But we always do photo shoots. We have our team. We have a bunch of different, shout out to Agape, who's a vintage company, and they support a lot of great charities. They're in Colquitt, Georgia, and this dress actually came from them.
I love your dress.
And they're owned by a church, the Methodist Church, and so we love love supporting them. They work with some awesome causes. We always do a big collection. If you love the little 80s stuff, you know, throwback like I do,
yes.
we always do those showcases. But yeah, we are booking all the time for photo shoots. I do classes and workshops if you just want to learn more. So you can email me or message me, Victoria Henley, and we'll come to you. We do stuff locally all the time.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit about your involvement, a host with iHeartRadio. That's pretty cool, too.
Absolutely.
How did you get involved with that?
Yes, well, thank you so much. You know, I always wanted to host a radio program. That was always something that had been in the back of my mind, had always kind of been something I wanted to do. So I attended Ohio Fashion Week as a model. I was a headlining model, and the director said, why don't you just come out and do a little speech, you know, for everyone? And I came out and I talked, and I noticed this guy, he was looking at me. He just had a look, you know, like one of those R&B radio guys. And so after the show, he came up to me and he said, I really like the way that you talk. I like your vibe. I'm with iHeartRadio. I mean, of all things, at Ohio Fashion Week, who would think?
So that just kind of fell in your lap, too?
Yes.
That was wonderful. That was God right there.
That was God, yeah. Yeah, it was a God thing. And I like to call it that because it really was. It just, you know, why else would iHeartRadio be there? So he talked to me, he had me call into the show, and I said, listen, I have this idea for a show. It's called Backstage Pass, and I will give a backstage pass into Fashion Week. So I'm going to interview designers and models, and he loved the idea. About a month later, Backstage Pass got syndicated, and iHeartRadio pretty soon became the top podcasting platform. So we've got the podcast, we've got the show, Backstage Pass with Victoria. I hope you guys can check that out too.
Well, it has been a pleasure. I could talk to you all day. We are running out of time, but any last-minute thoughts for anyone out there?
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back anytime. But yeah, again, if you're going to be in New Orleans, Louisiana, don't be shy. Find me on social media. It's Instagram at Victoria Henley. And I want to tell everybody, I mean, I'm from a really small town. If you want to be on a show like America's Next Top Model, if you want to pursue your dream, you know, just because you're from a smaller town doesn't mean you can't. And we want to help you kind of further your career. And nothing is impossible. Even the word itself says I'm possible. So,
well, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much
for being a wonderful role model to younger women.
Thank you.